What led to Darth Vader slaughtering the entire Hutt Grand Council? Greetings, Acolytes, and welcome back to the Archives. In the Clone Wars, we were first introduced to the Hutt Grand Council, a collection of Hutts which essentially ran the Outer Rim and Hutt space as a whole. They carried immense power and could technically be considered heads of state in their own right. For hundreds of years, their powers went unchallenged because they played their cards very wisely, always choosing their battles and never taking bets they knew had unfavorable odds. And for the large part of the reign of the Empire, the Hutt Council flew under the radar and even had good dealings with the Imperials. However, all thanks to the actions of a single Hutt, Lord Vader himself would bring down his lightsaber on the whole lot of them. So why did Darth Vader decide to slaughter the Hutt Grand Council? Lord Vader cared nothing for the Hutts, but even he did have a valid excuse for why he had to massacre them. So join us today as we open a holocron and dive into the death of the Hutt Council. Our story today comes from the canon War of the Bounty Hunters arc in the 2020 comic run of Star Wars Darth Vader. During this cross-comic event, the object that everyone wants to get their hands on is the frozen carbonite body of Han Solo. Originally in Boba Fett's possession after leaving Bespin, it gets taken from him and passes several hands over the course of the story. All of the bounty hunters want to cash in on the prize that Jabba has for whoever brings Solo in, and Vader has decided to claim Solo for himself so that he can lure Luke back into another confrontation, especially after his failed duel and attempt to capture him on Cloud City. And Vader is wanting to prey on Luke's love for his friends once more. As an undercurrent of all of these events though, a new threat has risen against the Empire from the shadows: the Crimson Dawn. Under the leader Kira, the Crimson Dawn have become something far more than a crime syndicate. They are now like a cult of freedom-fighting assassins who have begun to infiltrate the very crevices of the Empire, and are garnering more and more power from within. With the new mantra, "Each of us are weak, but together we are strong," a million against one, Crimson Dawn has begun to recruit thousands upon thousands of beings to their cause, with the plan of infiltrating every level of Imperial bureaucracy in order to take it down from the inside. While the Rebel Alliance is drawing the Empire's attention, Crimson Dawn slowly is seeping into the very structure like a venom, crawling through the Imperial ranks until they can cut the very head off of the snake: Vader and Palpatine. Both Vader and Palpatine become aware of Crimson Dawn's plotting, and so the Emperor instructs his apprentice to seek out all those in the Empire who are spies and to eradicate them with prejudice. With Vader only being able to split his attention so much though, he recruits Boku the Hutt to find Han Solo for him while he deals with his current mission. As the story continues, Solo is continuing to trade hands, and Vader is hunting down Dawn's spies. Boku though is trying and failing to secure Solo, and it all boils down to a black market auction where Han is the main prize. Boku goes to bid on him, but finds himself completely outbid by the Empire, essentially causing Vader to break his deal with Boku. But right as Vader is securing Solo, he successfully lures in Luke, who arrives in his X-Wing. Vader quickly goes out to confront him in his TIE Advanced Fighter, and the two enter a dogfight over an icy moon. Meanwhile, it turns out that Palpatine has been sabotaging Vader's attempt to find Skywalker this entire time, as the Emperor knows why Vader really wants Luke, which is to train the boy to overthrow him. Of course, the Emperor also desires Luke so that he can use him to replace Vader, whom Sidious has grown to highly distrust at this time. In a sense, Vader and Palpatine have been in an unspoken Cold War with one another, manifested as a race to acquire Luke Skywalker. Administrator Sly Moore, who already hates Vader and wishes to get rid of him, was aware of the Emperor's wishes and acts on them for her own accord. When Vader manages to shoot Luke down onto the moon, Sly Moore drops several Imperial droids to attack Vader's TIE Fighter and to repair Luke's X-Wing so that he can escape. During the confusion, Boku the Hutt swipes Han Solo and joins up with the rest of the Hutt Grand Council on their capital ship. He orders the Hutt's dreadnought to attack Vader's Super Star Destroyer, and all of the Hutts aboard call Boku insane for this action and tell him that he's gone too far. But Boku surrounds them with all of his mercenaries at gunpoint, desperate to free himself from Vader's grasp. This is when it's revealed that Boku himself is a part of Crimson Dawn. A massive space battle then erupts between the Hutts and the Imperials, and during the frenzy, Boba Fett fights his way through the rest of the Hunters in order to reclaim Solo and take him back to Tatooine. Vader, meanwhile, was tunnel visioned by Luke as he gets a transmission that he was betrayed by Sly and Boku. Vader ignored these problems at first, chasing his son in their dogfight. But that's when he receives a transmission from Admiral Piet, who tells Vader that the Emperor has commanded that Vader end the Hutt insurrection personally, saying that the Hutts have finally gone too far. Vader is displeased that he is forced to break off his chase with Luke, but this command by the Emperor confirms Vader's suspicions that his master has been trying to keep him away from the boy. Vader then breaks off his chase with the promise that someday soon he will find Luke. And now he knew where he stood with Palpatine, as the Emperor had shown him his hand that he truly wanted Skywalker and to replace Vader. Vader would fly his TIE into the hangar of the Hutt ship and storms his way towards the bridge, cutting down everyone in his path with his crimson blade. Upon reaching the command bridge, Vader simply fulfills his orders and destroys everyone in the room. Mercenaries, Gamorrean guards fall to the Sith Lord's feet, before he then lays waste to the Hutt themselves. Vader shows no mercy, ensuring that their deaths are as painful as possible. He is shown slicing off their arms first, before driving his saber across the front of their bodies. All the while, Boku the Hutt begs for his life, but his whimpers fall on deaf ears as Vader thrusts his saber straight through Boku's chest. But this is when Boku reveals that he thought something like this would happen one day, and so that he had already rigged the capital ship to self-detonate. Boku believes that he has the last laugh against Vader, and has lived just long enough to be finished off in his own explosion. But as the hunks of alloy from the capital ship fall to the snowy moon, there is a specific ball that falls with them. Darth Vader had simply used the Force to draw together a sphere of metal around him, surviving the explosion. After the rough landing, Vader cuts himself out of the sphere and emerges completely unharmed. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Boba Fett delivers Han Solo to Jabba, who is now the most powerful Hutt in the entire clan since the death of the Grand Council. And so, my friends, what do you think of this story? The Vader comics do a great job at reinforcing how nearly invincible Vader is, especially when he has the mind to capture Luke. Not only was he able to wipe out the Hutt Council and get away with it, but he survived an entire ship exploding without as much as a scratch on his armor. His plans to get Luke were only sabotaged by Sly Moore and Palpatine. Otherwise, this would have been a very successful day for the Dark Lord. But tell us, my friends, what are your thoughts on Vader getting to take revenge against the Hutt cartel? Taking revenge on them for how they treated him in the Outer Rim. There are plenty of times where Vader gets to bully Jabba the Hutt around, but he's often stopped from taking his revenge due, of course, to the delicate politics between the Empire and the Hutt cartel. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, my friends. And as always, may the Force be with you.